I dare you to tell a nurse she's not a professional.
Not me, but we'll tell you why the government is saying that crazy stuff here today on the Undercurrent. What? All this underwater themery always gets me hungry for like shrimps.
Shrimps. You know, I was
shrimp.
on Instagram. Speaking of which, I got to get us going here on Instagram. But I was seeing a recipe on Instagram for noodles made out of shrimps.
Shrimp noodles?
Yeah, actually made out of shrimps. I got to try it, man. It looks so good. I love me some shrimps.
I do too. I love me some shrimps too.
Any kind of seafood, actually, when it comes right down to it. Man, look at our great friends that are here today. We got Chuck, UFO show. We got a lot of people's here.
We got what's up, Yonino? What's up, girl? Good morning to you as well. And Bella's here. What's up, Bella? Good to see you. Who else is here?
Max Sarjay. We got CBC voter.
What's up, y'all? Good to see y'all.
So good to see y'all. We had an important question. Chuck's UFO show. Curiously enough, I believe that there's maybe one or two Arthur Treachers left in the country. And it's, I remember they actually were far superior to Long John Silver. And for a long time, there was an Arthur Treacher in, I want to say it was Niles, suburb of Chicago. And it was run by, I think it was a Korean family. And they used to give you your big plate of fish and chips, and they would put a rice cake on top of it.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like extra food anytime. So
yeah. And I like fish and chips, and I like shrimps, and I like anything that comes from the sea.
Well, yeah, I grew up on the Gulf Coast, and that's all that there is down there, shrimp. Oysters too. You got oysters down there.
Love me some oysters.
Yeah, I do too. I have to be in a mood for some oysters on the half shell, but I'll eat me some fried oysters all day.
You like roasted oysters?
Roasted oysters?
Yeah.
You mean like chestnuts? Only they're oysters.
Oh, dude. Okay. You come down, visit me here in Bentonville. I'm going to take you out to one of my favorite places called Scotch and Soda. And they have a massive wall of brown liquor, but they also have roasted oysters, and they have them with different sauces. One has like a chimichurri on them, or like a garlic miso butter. Really good stuff with homemade bread on the side.
Oh yeah. You can't go wrong with homemade bread. He said, I visit one of the last Arthur Treacher fish and chips to talk about the history of this restaurant. Oh, okay, cool.
Cool. Thank you for that. Maybe I'll do a little something special with that video. I appreciate that. I loved Arthur Treachers. I thought they were fantastic. You actually got the malt vinegar to go on your chips.
Yeah, you had your Arthur Treachers, then you shifted down to your Long John Silvers, and then when you go down even further in the South, you go to Captain D's down there, and it was basically low rent Arthur Treachers, more or less. But yeah, po' boys. You get the po' boys and the hush puppies. You get the hush puppies too. Good Southern food, good New Orleans style food like that, like gumbos and like a crawfish etouffee. Get some mud bugs.
We have mud bugs down here. We have a place called the Flying Fish, and they do fish and all that. And when the mud bugs are in season, you can get them by the pound with a boil, with potatoes and corn. Also, the people who own the Flying Fish are Mexican. So they will do stuff with a Mexican twist. They have these amazing shrimp tacos. And it's got you got the coleslaw. So it's a Southern and Mexican mashup. And it is a beautiful and gorgeous and wonderful thing.
Yeah. It's you've heard of Tex-Mex. That's Hicks-Mex. Hicks. Because my people are down there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Come
I love
on
some
down and
fish.
visit, Uncle Warren. We should get a group of folks from maybe Chicago corner, everybody just kind of do a convoy down here. I'll put you up. We'll pull out the air mattresses here and we'll just have ourselves a time all weekend.
I know, get fat off the food too. That food down there, seriously, there's a reason why they have those electric scooters in Walmarts down there, and a lot of them too. They have a fleet. They have a fleet of scooters for some big people down there. So, big prices too this holiday season. Tomorrow's Turkey Day. In case people forgot, I forgot all about Thanksgiving. To be honest with you, it just sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It's every year. Every year it gets faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, I mean, here it is. We're at the end of November. It's pretty crazy. So that means you got your Black Friday, which I don't know. With the online stuff, you're seeing a lot less of the store storming, but you still see it. You know, you go to Walmart, there's going to be some store storming. You could get that online. Nope, I got to get this. I got to make sure I get this for little Bobby. Little Bobby's going to be all pissy and mean if I don't get, that kind of thing. So they got to physically get their hands on it. But these tariffs that's going on, they are poo-pooing a lot of the happiness here. Wait a minute, where's my thing? I got thingies. Is this it? This is it. Bing. All right. So tariffs turn holiday cheer into sticker shock. Hell, even Thanksgiving itself is pretty pricey. And then you got to do the shopping after that. New ad campaign targets holiday price spike from Trump tariffs. So tariffs cost us. That's an organization on Monday announced a holiday campaign highlighting how Trumpies sweeping tariffs are driving up the prices of food, gifts, and more for American families and businesses during the busiest shopping season of the year. Tariffs are the Grinch this year, declares one visual advertisement from the organization. Other features a woman with a frustrated expression and says, "Joy shouldn't cost extra." Well, I know a couple of places where joy costs extra, but this is a family program. The effort comes as many Americans come. Wait, man! The effort comes as many Americans plan large family meals for Thanksgiving on Thursday. A third ad says tariffs don't belong at the table. They don't. He's right, said some person. The campaign also features a 30-second video showing a woman checking out and reacting to the high price of each item with clips of Trump's actual remarks about his imports taxes playing in the background. I believe this is it right here. I don't know if this is going to play or not. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can you hear this?
The tariffs are happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that.
Do you agree that Americans are paying those tariffs?
They might be paying something. I don't want to hear about the affordability because right now we're much less. Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Ridiculous. Give them 30 pencils. See, that's the thing. That's the straw man argument. Oh, they're going to want to under these things. No. Nobody said anything about that specific amount of numbers. Tariff cost U.S. also circulated comments from business leaders across the country, such as Mary Carol Dodd, owner of Red Scout Farm in North Carolina. The cost of many of the materials we use for farming has increased this year, she said. That increases the price of the fresh produce we sell in our community, and it means the food on your Thanksgiving table costs more too. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, yeah, it's you don't have to wait to get gouged. You could get it right off the bat with Thanksgiving. As the AP reported Monday, the shrinking population is expected to cause wholesale turkey prices to rise 44% this year, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Despite the increase, many stores are offering discounted or even free turkeys to soften the potential blow to Thanksgiving meal budgets. But even if the bird is cheaper than last year, the ingredients to prepare the rest of the holiday feast may not be. Tariffs on imported steel, for example, have increased prices for canned goods. Oh, I thought I was going to say something like, "Yeah, we eating steel this year for Thanksgiving. It's going to be rough." I'd say it's probably always rough on your teeth. You got dental work. As of November 17th, a basket of 11 Thanksgiving staples, including a 10-pound frozen turkey, 10 russet potatoes, a box of stuffing. I was going to do the 12. I thought I was going to that thing. And cans of corn, green beans, and cranberry sauce cost $58.81, or 4.1% more than last year, according to Data Assembly, a market research company that surveys weekly prices at 150,000 U.S. stores. That's higher than the average price increase for food eaten at home, which rose 2.7% in September, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor stats. Yeah. So, and let's look at here. Look at some of these prices that's gone up since last year. So, cost of Thanksgiving groceries here. This middle column is last year. And this column here to the left is this year, and this is the price increase. So frozen turkeys are up, but smoked bone-in spiral hams are down. Yeah. So no, I'm sorry.
No, they're not. Oh, I'm looking here. No, that's 2020. No, they're up.
No, that was just wishful thinking because I love ham.
I love ham too.
My ham dyslexia! You've let me down once again. But look at that
big increase. Look at that.
Almost 50%. So I'm trying to see if anything went down. I don't think anything went down. I mean, you still got your similar prices here with your green beans, your mushroom soup. That stuff's kind of, but yeah, nothing. Everything is more expensive this year on this list anyway. Except for Kraft Foods box stuffing, one box. It's actually 6 cents cheaper this year. Hallelujah, folks. Break out your prayers have been answered. But I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that pumpkin pie fillings is on par with last year. It's the same price. So yeah, it looks like almost a 10% increase from last year in total prices for this stuff. You know, that's the thing too. This is going to factor into the holiday spending overall, right? Because I mean, it depends on if you're a religious person or not too. Because if you're a religious person, you're probably going to have some more expenditures as well. Us heathens who are cheap, we're going to hell, but we're going to hell with empty pockets. We're not taking any money with us. Nothing went down. The dumb magas on Facebook swear the turkey at Publix is cheaper than last year. Yeah, they got to do that smoke and mirrors propaganda stuff. They don't want to scare people, but it's hard to hide those high prices.
Aluminum foil prices are ridiculously high. What am I going to do to shield myself?
I think Chuck is the one we got to worry about sending down rays of hope and kindness. We don't want that down here. Ew.
We got to also say hello to our good friend Willie Bragg, who is in the house and is always so supportive. Thank you so much, Willie.
Willie, what's up? What's Willie said? Willie said, "MAGA's love line to me." I know Willie. Everybody's gonna get new tinfoil. Trademark Bella already. Bella knows how to sniff out a deal. Yeah, that's crazy, right? I mean, well, it's not unexpected though. We knew that this was going to happen for the holiday season.
Yeah.
And then you factor in a month plus long bullshit, government shutdown that affects people's SNAP too. Ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a good time of year. I used to really look forward to this time of year. Now, not so much. Not so much.
Wait, what's this about, Willie Bragg? Drunk live stream tomorrow with Angie Moon? Ooh.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving. Do you usually do it on Thanksgiving, Willie? Is that usually when you do it? He does his drunk live streams and he does karaoke, but he gets in trouble because he sings so well that it matches what the artist sounds like, and he gets dinged for copyright for his
That's
own
hilarious.
voice.
I gotta see this. What time is it, Willie? Tell us what time it is.
Yeah, let us know, Willie, what time it is. So we'll promo that for you. And also, I think my weirdo astronomy friends from the University of North Dakota are going to be on tonight for Extra Pull-Up.
That's right. Yeah. And what time is that going to be, Uncle Warren?
We're going to try to do it 8 a.m. 8 a.m. It's always a.m. now. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. West Coast time.
Okay.
On the usual suspects there, YouTube, Rumble, and the Book of Faces.
So that'll be on Extra Bull. It won't be on the Undercurrent channel. By the way, if you are not subscribed to the Undercurrent channel, please consider doing so.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you checking in, but if you could help build up our YouTube channel, we would totally support that.
Yeah, we're totally on there right now. I see some people on there already. That's pretty cool.
And the only reason I'm saying this also is that the reason I'm saying it is that I'm getting my studio built up here. It's taken a little longer than I expected, but I'm looking to maybe do some shows directly on there. I don't want to be on Extra Bulla because that's Warren's channel. But I would like to start doing some stuff, go rogue periodically. So if you could subscribe to the Undercurrent on YouTube, that would be a huge help. And of course, we're on Rumble. You can check us out on Facebook. If I'm on Instagram, you can go to my channel on Instagram, follow me there. That'd be great too. Everything is linkable through our link tree. And we do appreciate everybody coming out and supporting this new project. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. You guys we have a really swell community here.
We do.
They have a thirst for knowledge.
Yep.
And are not swayed easily, if ever, by the bull caca. So that's what we like about our peeps.
Yeah.
Willie, don't let him lie to you. His pipes are legendary. Golden Throat is what he's called. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what he's called. Never mind. Guess what? Family caregivers.
Yeah.
They're having some trouble as well. And it's a shame too, because it's like it's a great program, if you want to help your elders and you get paid for it, but of course the screwery is always afoot as the burden on unpaid family caregivers reaches unprecedented levels. Yeah. So
go
ahead.
This has been going on for a while. I used to write a newsletter for a hospital system, their chaplaincy program. And I became aware, and this was probably around 10 years ago, but it was something like close to 30% of adult, I want to say it was adult women were at the time providing caregiving, unpaid care, various types of unpaid caregiving. And that number continues to rise. And for Gen X, which is our generation, they're calling us the sandwich generation because many of us are caring for parents, in some cases, grandparents who are still alive. And in some cases, and also for children, either or grandchildren, because of the way people are living longer, because of the way people made decisions about childbearing. we've got people, and it's oftentimes women, but a lot of men are doing this caregiving work as well. And I happen to know men who have been doing it, who are caught in a situation where they're doing a whole lot of caregiving in addition to trying to work a full-time job or being married and managing a household. And it's definitely on the increase. And I'm not seeing an end in sight here, particularly as people, are living longer, but they're not necessarily healthy.
Mm-hmm.
People, they've got a number of chronic conditions, and they're not healthy, and they are in need of support and help, but the family network is strained because there may only be one or two people within that family system that are healthy enough to provide the caregiving. And this is on the increase. It's not necessarily getting better. There are some situations where family caregivers can get some kind of a stipend or something like that, but it's not happening all the time. It's not always available. It's not always possible. And this is what can sometimes lead to these horrible situations where you have somebody who is ill or sick or elderly, and they're being neglected, or they're considered to be neglected. But when you find out, when you look into what's going on, that usually they had a very overburdened caregiver who was receiving no external support. And I believe that this situation is going to get worse. And a lot of people, they don't want to go into nursing homes. There are some good reasons to not want to go into nursing homes. But at the same time, they are unable to function entirely on their own. And they may have to rely on the free services, unpaid services of a family member who's already overextended. This is a problem that is going to get worse. It is not getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. And because it's affecting everybody. It's affecting the person who needs the care. It's affecting the caregiver in this situation. And, at one time in our lives, we kind of relied on the safety net to help with our elderly folks. Right. And now you can't do that anymore. So now I was going to say, particularly with the elderly that we have now, is there a way to turn it around, for once we're ready for the home? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you're right. I think it gets worse.
Department of Labor data. This is the article, which you can follow along in the show notes. You can also subscribe to our Substack. It's on that link tree there for you, so you can follow along and read all these articles. But Department of Labor data shows that nationwide, the average American woman age 55 or older, that's me, or older, spends 182 hours per year tending to loved ones, the equivalent of a full-time job for 5 weeks of the year, but without pay or relief. Also notes that caregivers are more likely to experience symptoms of depression and poor health overall compared to non-caregivers. Many are forced to reduce work hours or leave their jobs entirely, sacrificing wages, health insurance, and retirement benefits in the process. Now, there's the key right there. There's where that happens. You've got somebody who's been a caregiver. They are going to be in poor health. They are going to have fewer assets, fewer retirement benefits, and as a result, when they need care, they're maybe more likely to need care, and when they need care, they're going to have even fewer resources to be able to compensate a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about, and again, I know we hear a lot from conservatives about the great replacement theory that people are not having enough children in the U.S. Well, the reality is that a lot of people have pulled back on having kids because of affordability issues. So there may be fewer younger family members who are able to step in, even if they want to or are capable of it.
I saw, I probably a few years ago, I saw a study too about women who are having abortions, right? And I think around 60 to 70% of the women that were surveyed said that if they had proper, adequate health care that was affordable or hell, even free, like most socialist countries have, they wouldn't have had the abortion, and they would have had the child too.
Mm-hmm.
So money, money is always factored into when you're having a child anyway, but it's also, it's also factored when, you're not having a child too, like that too. I can't even afford to feed myself a lot of times. That somebody would say, why would I bring somebody else into this world? Because I can't afford them, and that's where we're at now.
Yeah. And this is not a situation that's going to get better. And I'm deeply afraid for the future for a lot of these families. There are going to be families where they have the resources to hire in-home care, or where they can compensate a family member. I have a friend, for example, who's doing that right now. She is being compensated to provide care to her family members, and that is working out for them. But not everybody has that.
Yeah, Max says he's having that same problem. His sister's taking care of his mom and dad, and is getting burned out. Yeah, I know. I mean, I can't empathize. I can empathize, but I can't sympathize. I lost my parents when earlier on, right? And it was in my 20s and 30s, and now you're starting to see Gen X people our age now starting to deal with their parents that are passing on too. And what are they going to do with their parents in their final years, right? A lot of them are keeping them home. A lot of the kids are staying home 20, 25 years old because it's cheaper to stay at home. And that's not so much the kids' ideas too. The parents just too are like, yeah, you can stay here and take care of us too, while you're here. And that's the new dynamic that I'm seeing.
Yeah. But the cost is often there's an economic cost, not only to the economy in general, but also to the individual who has had to pull back on their professional development or their career development in order to do this. And then when it's, when they're in their 80s or 90s, they may not have these resources to pay that, and they may not have the family members who can stop in. It's an ongoing cyclical problem that is going to require a societal approach. It's not something that individuals typically are going to be able to resolve on their own.
Another cyclical problem is our technology. You remember TV repair shops? You remember those?
Yeah.
When they were a thing? And or stereo repair, like any repair shops, right? You take your electronics in there, you get it repaired. And now it costs, the game is it costs more to repair it than it does to replace it. So it's the old with the printers, right? With the ink cartridges.
Yep.
You just might as well buy a new printer because it's an ink cartridge that comes with the printer in that case, because the ink cartridges are so expensive and the devices are so cheap. Well, so people are starting to hang on to their cell phones longer and longer too. They're like tablets and stuff, and can't afford these new devices, right? So wait, I have a thing for this. Here we go. So Americans are holding on to devices longer than ever, and it's costing the economy. So if you're holding onto your aging printer or cracked smartphone longer than you had planned, you are not alone. Heather Mitchell, retired and living in Tucson, Arizona, is content with her phone, even though it is old by smartphone standards. My Samsung Galaxy A71 is 6 years old. It's hanging in there surprisingly well for a jalopy. I've had issues with it and still do, but they are minor, said Mitchell. I love Samsung phones, but cannot afford a new one right now. A new phone would be a luxury. Yes, indeed, it would be a luxury. A phone these days is like $1,000, $1,200, something like that. A phone.
Yeah.
A phone.
Remember when you didn't get to own a phone, Uncle Warren? Back in the day, you had to rent your phone from the phone company.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Your house phone. You did not own that phone.
No, you rented it, and you could get it up. You could have the standard phone, but you could upgrade it to a princess phone. Remember the princess phones?
With the little things.
Yeah, and eventually they went to touch tone phones, but you had to pay extra. You had to pay an extra fee every month. for
Mhm.
that. But that's the way it was. And those things basically were lethal weapons. I mean, they were sturdy as F. You could, and if you got like they had the cords on them, and you had that receiver, and you could swing that around and clap somebody.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and hanging up on somebody was more dramatic. You would hear the
And
clunk.
satisfying.
Yeah. And nowadays if you just hit end, it's like
They have no. They don't. They're just talking into the phone. You're making a fool of them, but you can't see them do it.
what are you going to do? You're going to go click and then hit the button. That's
Yeah.
not good. But yeah, you used to rent your phones from the phone company. And then they got to a point where you could you could buy phones, and then that's when you started getting your wireless, was it the wireless phones, with the cord, and it had, or not the cordless, but it had the antenna in there.
Yeah.
So the average American now holds onto their smartphone for 29 months, according to that's over 2 years. According to a recent survey by reviews.org, and that cycle is getting longer. The average was around 22 months back in 2016. While squeezing as much life out of your device as possible may save money in the short run, especially amid widespread fears about the strength of the consumer and job market, it might cost the economy in the long run. Oh, poor economy, especially when device hoarding occurs at the level of corporations. So research released by the Federal Reserve last month concludes that each additional year companies delay upgrading equipment results in a productivity decline of about 1/3%, with investment patterns accounting for approximately 55% of productivity gaps between advanced economies. The good news, businesses in the U.S. are generally quicker to reinvest in replacing aging equipment. The Federal Reserve report shows that if European productivity had matched U.S. investment patterns starting in 2000, the productivity gap between the U.S. and European economic heavyweights would have been reduced by 29% for the UK, 39% for France, and 101% for Germany. Experts agree lost productivity and efficiency are the unintended consequences of people and businesses clinging to aging technology. But also, some people ain't all up in their phones either.
Yeah.
Right? They just want a regular ass phone.
Yeah.
Right? You see, like what do they call those? The ones that they had the flip phones.
Yeah, flip phones. They want a dumb phone.
Yeah. They just want a regular ass phone that's just hey, I want to call Millie today, if there's still somebody called Millie. And I just want to chat with her, or if I want to send her a picture. Like, you can send pictures through text messages. They want email, text messages, and voice. And some of them don't even want that other stuff. They just want the voice.
Well, this is hilarious. And they have plug-in rotary phones that you can jack into your cell phone and use as a phone too. They sell those on Amazon.
They do. They sure do.
I want to get the butter churn. I want to get a butter churn so I can churn butter. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
A butter what for phones? I don't know if you.
Like I'm saying, if you're gonna have the pleasure of having a rotary phone, why can't we have butter churns? Because you want.
Oh, you mean going back?
Yeah, we want to go on back and get a butter churn.
Look, I think there's some people churning their own butter now.
Okay, here's what I am going to. But what I'm going to say about this also is recently I got myself effectively a radio Walkman, a portable radio with a little headphone that I can clip to my belt and walk around. And you know what? I'm happier listening to the radio when I'm walking than I am constantly switching to stream to a song that I want on my smartphone. I'm actually happier with it. Just way of putting it that way. Yeah.
I have what is it? VLC. It's a media playing program, plays video and audio, and I have it for my phone. And it's open source and no ads, none of that stuff. And I just play my music. Every once in a while I might get funky and listen to the radio part on there, because there's an actual radio on there. But I think you have to have wired headphones in there for it to work because of the antenna. I don't know how that works.
Oh, by the way, I want to say hi to Kate and Wesley, who have joined us. Thank you all so much for showing up today, the day before Thanksgiving. Much appreciated.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, this is the day before Turkey Day. Tomorrow, I'm gonna have some.
You need a license for ham radio. I don't know if CBs require licenses. They used to, but I'm not sure if they do anymore. But I know the ham radios, you absolutely need to get a license.
You definitely need one if it's a ham and cheese. Cheese.
Cheese.
You know what's not good though? Is this new Twitter's new location disclosure policy. You know that I'm the king of segue. Wait a minute, where's this thing? I'm so used to the old ways. All right, let's do that.
The old ways, yeah.
The old ways back in
This
time.
is a weird story that you found, Uncle Warren.
Yeah, so X, formerly known as the Tweeters, the social media platform owned by Elon Musk, has launched a new transparency feature, which provides a greater level of information about accounts, including the locations of the users behind them. X says the move will provide greater transparency and address concerns about bots that spread misinformation by enabling users to identify where they are based. But it has raised concerns about safety and privacy for users worldwide. Here's a closer look at what's happening. So what is happening at the Tweeters? Nikita Baer, head of product at the social media platform, announced the new feature, which will be rolled out globally in a post on the platform November 22nd, which was a few days ago. A couple hours will be rolling out about this account globally, allowing you to see the country or region where an account is based. This will be accessible by tapping the sign-up date on profiles, Baer wrote. So, yeah, so there it is. There's the thing. This is about this account. You click on there and the date they joined. The account's based in the United States. This one is 2 username changes. So it tells you all that stuff too. X account profiles include a clickable about this account page, which is accessible from the user menu. Until now, this page has displayed only the creation date of the account publicly. Now it also shows details such as the country the account holder is based in, the date, the account, you know the thing. We just went through it. It also indicates whether the app has been installed on an Android device or via the iOS App Store and in which country. If the account is verified, it also displays the date it was verified. For some verified profiles, company affiliation also shows, such as tweeters from Musk or the United States Department or for U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a.k.a. the Aquaman. You know why they call him the Aquaman, right? My boy always thirsty, yo. You remember that? He was doing the response to the State of the Union, and he got thirsty, and he grabbed the thing of water. X said this is necessary to ensure content posted on the platform is authentic and transparent. This is an important first step to securing the integrity of the global town square. We plan to provide many more ways for users to verify the authenticity of the content they see on the tweeters. She said, on the whole, no, you can't opt out of this. This is not an option, Laney Poo. On Tuesday, the platform did not appear to provide an option to hide this information from other users. For private accounts, which users must request permission from the account holder to follow, the new information is only accessible to users who have been approved to follow them. So that's not good. What if you don't? See, like on mine, I put Earth. You don't need to know anything else. Just know that I'm from Earth, right? But now is it going to make me say that it's from Cleveland? You know, what if I don't want to be from Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I do think that people overassume their privacy online. It is relatively easy, particularly if you get a bunch of very bored women trying to find you. You can drop clues here and there, and people will find you. It's a predicament, because I do like the idea of disclosing bots. I do like the idea of people maybe having to disclose that they don't have the interest that they're claiming to have in a particular discussion based on where they live. But at the same time, we've also got the issue of security. And do we really want some internet stalker? And this happens. This does happen. You get these creeps who are trying to hunt you down and not giving people that option. You could also simply have it stated on people's profile, this person has chosen not to disclose this information. And people can make a decision how seriously they want to take that content and that creator based on what is being disclosed.
Yeah, you should definitely have that option to hide that. And then you're going to have these people that come, well, if you got nothing to hide, you shouldn't be. No, it's that has nothing to do with that. Yeah, it's like you said, for safety purposes. And also, let's say you're protesting a certain country that owns us, the thing. And they want to find out where you're protesting from, and you don't want to divulge that information. That's another thing too. This is a very slippery slope. Oh, I can't seem to get my grip on this slope. Yeah, one of those things. So could this compromise user safety? Mark Owen Jones, an associate professor of media analytics at Northwestern University in Qatar, told Al Jazeera that the new feature could enable people or agencies to cross-check the location of an anonymous account with data from other accounts, potentially allowing bad actors to identify or narrow down the location of someone, requiring privacy because of security concerns. Well, first thing, if you have severe security concerns, you probably shouldn't be on Twitter in the first place.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm just saying, if you have a lot of concerns about that, maybe you shouldn't be on there. I know I don't want to take away your treats, but with actions comes consequences. So
yeah, it just unfortunately. And
unfortunately,
if somebody is working for, say, a media agency or something like that, honestly, any legitimate organization like that ought to be doing what is necessary to protect their journalists or whoever it is that's working for them. So, but yeah, I mean, if you have really serious concerns about your safety, you should probably not be online. I understand that there are circumstances where private individuals who may be dealing with a domestic violence situation or whatnot may want to be online so they can stay in touch with family and friends. But again, I think you have to be incredibly careful at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point now, the old west of just doing stuff willy-nilly on the internet is over. You can't really do that anymore. No. Unless you're someone that is of no interest to anyone, which that was one of my goals in high school. But so far so good. The dream is alive.
By the way,
Dad.
Yeah. Want to say hi to Marcus Cage, our good friend Marcus Cage, the political matrix.
That guy.
Yeah, he dropped in. I hope he's still around, but if he is, I put his link to his YouTube channel in the chat. Great guy, great show, very thought-provoking. Check him out as well.
Yeah, his show right now during the football season is on Saturdays, which is all well and good. He tries to do it a little earlier because it's a gauntlet of shows on Saturday, right? They start with him, and then you have Beauty and the Boomer, and then you have us, me and my puppety oddball characters and crazy videos and stuff, and it's a
the secret show is
evening.
It's just an amazing thing. I mean, honestly. Oh yeah, there he is. There he is. He's here. He's here. Our good friend. Honestly, friends. Oh.
He's listening from work. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Marcus. We really appreciate all your support. Look forward to talking to you soon. But yeah,
we love you,
Marcus. Man. Yeah, I like to listen to him at the gym when I'm at the gym on Saturday.
Yeah, it's. But I tell you, I ain't trying to tell you how you do your show there, Marcus. But your show does have a very good Sunday vibe to it, like a late afternoon Sunday vibe. Because we knew during the non-football season, he was doing it on Sunday afternoons. And it's very chill. Listen to good information like that on a Sunday. But Saturday's good too. So. Like I said, I'm not trying to tell you your business. I'm just saying.
Here on YouTube, I think we've got some of the best news content anywhere. Morning Extra is amazing. Marcus, he gets into these deep stories. We do deep dives. You got the short form. You got the deep dives. And then we've got the fun on Saturday night. I mean, we got some great stuff around here. Just saying.
Like the kids said, we trying. We all trying up in here. You know who else is trying? The Democrats. They're trying my patience. You're the weakest segue ever. So this is some fun stuff for you kids out there who are into Democrats. FBI questioned Democrats who warned troops about unlawful orders. Dun, dun, dun. So the U.S. federal authorities are preparing to question 6 Democratic members of Congress who recently called on American service members to resist any orders from El Jefe himself, the one, the Don, Donald Trump himself, that they deem unlawful, according to a report by Fox News. The FBI interviews are described as part of an early fact-finding effort, which, man, there's dust, but they came amid a broader confrontation between the Trump administration and lawmakers, warning that the military must uphold the Constitution, not presidential whim. The planned interviews followed an announcement by the Department of War on Monday that that's such a stupid Department of War. Idiocracy is here. You don't have to wait 500 years. That shit's already here. The Department of War on Monday, that is, has opened a misconduct review into Senator Mark Kelly, a retired Navy captain, over his involvement in the initiative. Officials have signaled that Kelly could even be recalled to active duty to face proceedings under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, an extraordinary step against a sitting senator. Kelly appeared alongside several Democratic colleagues in a video circulated last week, urging members of the armed forces to stand firm against directives that violate U.S. law. In that recording, the lawmakers told troops that they must refuse, quote, unlawful orders from the administration, a message delivered by a group that included Senators Alyssa Slotkin and Kelly, as well as Representatives Chrissy Houlihan, Chris DeLuzio, Maggie Goldlander, and Jason Crow. The video did not cite a specific incident, but Democratic officials and former military lawyers have recently expressed concern over Trump's willingness to push legal boundaries from domestic deployments of active duty troops to controversial strikes abroad, whose legal basis has been called into question. So basically, the long and short of it is that they basically said, don't do it. Trump's going to want you to do some crazy things. Don't do the crazy things that are illegal. Try not to do any crazy things. So I'm not defending the Democrats, but that just seems like the common sense thing you would say to somebody. Yeah. Especially when they have all the weapons. You know, hey guys, maybe I know he's going to try and tell you to do some crazy things. Maybe want to pull back a little bit on that. What's up, Wesley? Good to see you, sir. So this just seems just like some sort of witch hunt. They get the Democrats scored good numbers in the elections a couple of weeks ago, and so this is their way of, so Trump blames the Democrats for the bad economy. He everything is the Democrats now because the Democrats' numbers are up. Wouldn't you agree, or am I full of poopy?
this is, I mean, I was reading this and I was just kind of agog. I mean, the idea of threatening to, you know, to recall this guy who's retired, so that they can court-martial him for giving, some pretty benign advice. I mean, this guy, he served in the Navy. He was an astronaut. He's married to former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Mhm.
He was stuck by her through her rehabilitation after being shot in the head by a lunatic. Again, I'm no fan of the Dems, as you well know, but again, this is common sense. Even if you are a soldier, following orders is not an excuse if it's an illegitimate order. Why is this being? This is all theater. This is all theater.
Right.
And we'll talk about more in the catch of the day, because this is what this administration is about: is this kind of theater that keeps people outraged, and upset and destabilized, so that other mischief can happen.
Indeed, indeed. Well, you just said the magic words, the catch of the day, and we might as well go ahead and get into it. Was the one big beautiful bill not so beautiful when it comes to certain professions now?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Here's the deal. I'm going to give the too long didn't read or too long didn't hear version. Be very careful, folks, when headlines come out and everybody gets all upset about them. Because remember the rules of professional wrestling. The whole point is to get everybody emotionally engaged and keep them emotionally engaged. And that is, we are living in pro wrestling politics right now. So what has happened is this. I'm going to say this. First of all, nursing has not been downgraded as not a profession. Okay, number one. Number two, no permanent changes have been made yet regarding student loan policy. The final rule writing has not yet happened. And number three, people will still be able to get student loans for nursing degrees, both graduate and undergraduate degrees. So I want to make this very clear that what we're hearing, this has come out. These stories are being, the headlines are being written. People are getting very upset about what's happening here. And I'm going to, hear me out here. I'm going to say that people are being played with this when you look into what's happening here. Okay. First of all, what is going on is we're talking here about graduate student loan programs. And what has happened is that the federal government has decided, these are government student loans. We're not talking about private student loans through private banks. We're talking government student loans. They want to they have always had caps on how much you can borrow for both undergraduate and graduate degrees. And what is going on right now is that the Department of Education wants to further cap what can be borrowed under graduate programs, which can be significant. And they are defining, but they have always had a certain group of graduate programs, that is to say master's degrees or higher, where there's a higher cap, where there's higher amounts of money that can be borrowed, because these are expensive programs where people can expect to earn quite a bit of money. So, for example, medicine, or law. Now, we already know that there are a whole bunch of lawyers, people who graduated, got law degrees, huge student loans, and were unable to find work as lawyers. Okay. Even some physicians are finding themselves in a real bind, depending on their specialty and where they're living. But there are a few programs that are like this. What is being proposed is that these programs that allow for these higher caps be pulled back, so that fewer graduate programs qualify. And some of the programs that are being defined as not a professional program include nursing, various healthcare professions, social work, but also things like accounting, social work, and some MBA programs, business administration programs. So there's more than just nursing, but nursing is what's gotten the attention. In the US, to become a registered nurse, you have 3 tracks to become a registered nurse. None of them require a graduate program. You can go through a 3-year diploma nurse program. These programs are have largely been phased out in the US, but they still exist. These are hospital-based programs where you get a diploma through a hospital program. You are also going to be attending classroom classes. But what you will be doing is you're learning through a hospital. There is an associate's degree program. You go to a nursing school, or you go to a junior or community college. You get a 2-year degree. The issue with the diploma and the associate nursing programs is that oftentimes these registered nurses are going to have a hard time getting jobs in hospitals. They're more likely to be hired by nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, doctors' offices, school, perhaps even school nurses, but they're less likely to be able to be work in hospitals. These days, in most cases, hospitals prefer to hire those who have a bachelor's degree in nursing. Something like 80% of all nurses have either a bachelor's, a diploma, or an associate's degree. They do not go on to graduate studies. If you want to be an advanced practice nurse, that means you want to be a nurse practitioner, a nurse midwife, a nurse anesthetist. You would go and get a master's degree. You can also, in some cases, get a doctoral degree as well, like a doctor of nursing practice. And those degrees are critical because in many communities, they don't have enough physicians. So they have these nurses who have specialized in advanced care. And what is being discussed and what has been mentioned, this has not been a final decision, but the press has certainly gotten in touch with, has certainly gotten a hold of this, is not allowing nurses in these advanced graduate programs to have higher loan caps. In many cases, they're perfectly capable of funding their educations without having to exceed the proposed loan caps. But everybody has glommed onto this. Now, here is my position on this issue. Our economy is, we become entirely dependent on student loans in this country, far, far dependent. It is not something that you see in most other countries, the level of student loans that people are required to take out. Moreover, we've seen a huge increase in tuition, both undergraduate and graduate tuition in this country. When I went to university, I went to a state university, Illinois State University, in 1988. The cost for tuition, fees, and room and board was about $4,000 a year. I checked this. That came out, so by today's standards, that would be something just under about $12,000 a year, okay? When I looked to see what they're charging over at Illinois State, what I was paying, my family was paying $4,000 for. At Illinois State now, it's something just under $28,000. Okay,
that's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And again, you have all of these these graduate programs. In addition to monetary inflation, we have this thing called degree inflation. It used to be that you could get a very good job, and not just in the trades. I'm talking professional jobs in business. You did not need to have a degree of any kind. And now they want you to have a master's degree at least. And so what we've seen is, and with the expansion of the student loan program, we've seen tuition and fees increase accordingly because they want to get a piece of that pie. And also in part because it is very difficult now to discharge student loans in bankruptcy, something that happened under Clinton, under a Democratic administration. And it is possible, contrary to what people have told you, it is possible to discharge student loans in bankruptcy, but it's more difficult. What has to start happening is we have to stop putting people into hock to get the degrees that are necessary to live in a functioning society. There are good reasons for nurses to be encouraged to get graduate degrees, by the way. One of the reasons is that to become a licensed practical or registered nurse, you have to be taught. And nursing instructors, including clinical nursing instructors who are supervising these nurses, have to have a graduate degree, at least a master's degree. So, and in fact, I remember this about 10 years ago, there was a nursing shortage in this country. And it was estimated that 20,000 qualified applicants to nursing programs were being turned away because they didn't have enough faculty to teach or supervise. So there is a need for more graduate educated nurses in this country, as well as many other healthcare professions. Absolutely 100%. But the healthcare industry is huge, particularly when you look at when you glom in health insurance there. These programs, this is an industry program, and it is a social issue, and it should not be falling on the individual student, or for that matter, in my view, any student loan guarantor like the federal government to be managing something that has blown way out of proportion here. So if they're going to start setting the caps, and the Department of Education has came out with a statement 2 days ago saying that they're hoping that this is going to bring the cost of tuition down. We have bloated administrations in many of these schools, and these schools are taking, it's not going to the faculty, let me tell you that. In many cases, the faculty are being paid crap. They have a whole lot of administrators. You have these puffed up budgets that are being subsidized by student loans that people may never have any hope of getting repaid. So again, I remind you, no final decisions have been made. We have seen a release that focuses on nursing and social work, for example, without talking about architecture or accounting being brought up. We've also seen, and this has gotten really strange, they're talking about why are theology degrees being classified as professional? In fact, they're not theology degrees, they're divinity degrees, and they're two different things. And I happen to know that because I have both. Okay, I have a Master of Divinity degree. That is the degree that you get when you want to become an ordained minister. I have a Master of Theological Studies, which is a purely academic degree. And that brings me back to something else that's going on here. When they're saying that nursing is not a professional degree, what they're talking about is the type of degree. That's a degree that is not purely academic, but is done to prepare somebody for a profession. And apparently what the Department of Education is saying, which may or may not be true, is that they have a further definition within the Department of Education. When they talk about the professional degrees, they are referring to those degrees that have high earning potential and that should have a higher cap. Whether they're telling the truth about that, I am not sure. But I can tell you that there is a difference between the way degrees are spoken about in academia, in educational institutions, and there is a difference between professional and academic degrees. So that should be understood. So what I'm saying here is I think that people are getting very riled up about this. They're seeing this as a conspiracy to deprive women of education. And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who aren't willing to do that. I just think that the Trump administration is perfectly willing to use the misogynists and the red pillars out there to manipulate them with this sort of thing. I think that, in fact, the oligarchs who actually run things want men and women in the workforce, and they want to run us ragged because they want to get as much labor out of us as they possibly can. I think this whole misogyny red pill thing is a way of keeping people distracted. Mm-hmm. But again, nothing has been set in stone. Nothing has been established here. And I'm going to argue that industries that want to benefit from the labor of people should be finding ways to provide for their education, that educational institutions need to pull down administrative bloat, start focusing on paying their faculty well, subsidizing the students through scholarships and grants, which is what historically schools did. We need to stop with degree inflation in this country and forcing people to get degrees that are unnecessary for their career paths.
Right.
And so this is what I believe in. This is where I'm going to be with this. And this is what's going on. I'll be keeping an eye on this, but people need to keep that in mind, that this is what's happening here. And it's just, this is what's happening.
Yeah. Another thing too with that too is, this person, Victoria, she does these, animations about like workforce things in the workplace that happens, like in hiring practices. And she had this hiring manager who was interviewing someone, and she said, yeah, I have a master's degree in so and so, and the lady said, what's that? What a master's degree, what is that? This is the interviewer was asking this person, like, and then she asked, do we know what a master's degree is? So it's getting to that point, because it's like they want to try and pull a fast one on people too, see how desperate they are. If you have a master's degree, they still want to pay you like you got maybe an associate's degree or something like that. That's another thing too. They don't get paid what they're worth. And so people are getting to the point, well, what's the point in having a master's degree if it's not going to do anything for me professionally? But academically, yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah. The other thing that people were asking about mandatory or required to report, such as child abuse. Yes. But again, that can be taught. The mandated reporting, is taught separately, at least in Illinois. There's a separate training for that anybody can be taught. And again, I have no problem with particular industries, particular professions saying, okay, this is what makes the most sense here for us and moving forward. But when it's simply because you're pushing everybody into college and you have to do further and further gatekeeping, that is a very real problem. There's another issue that's also comes up here, and that is the fact that employers, particularly healthcare employers and hospitals, used to, for a while there, were subsidizing education. They would do education reimbursement. They would pay for you to take courses. I had a friend who became a registered nurse. She got an associate's degree. And the counselor says, get your associate's degree, work for a few years, and your employer will pay for you to get your bachelor's degree. That has changed significantly over the past probably 5-6 years or something like that. Fewer and fewer places are paying for degrees. And it turns out that is partly due to the fact that the tax benefits to the business are very complicated. They're not a lot, and they're hard to manage. One thing that the federal government could do is provide tax relief to businesses who help to subsidize the educational endeavors of their employees. And this would be a benefit to the employee. And it would allow the employers to do what they ought to be doing and supporting their own industry, instead of putting all the burden on the employee, who has to take on massive amounts of debt if they want to just get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
We have to rethink this. And if it means cutting off some of the money, again, I hate to say it because I am not a fan of this administration, but if it means cutting off some of that cash flow so that everybody has to start living within or operating within their means, I'm all for it, because I think that this is, in the end, it's not benefiting the individual. It's not benefiting society. We're pulling people out of the workforce for longer periods of time to get education that they don't actually need. That doesn't benefit anybody.
No, ma'am. And I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene said she doesn't benefit anybody where she's at as a Republican. The recurring tide with stories keep coming back, like yesterday's lunch. Ooh, yesterday's lunch. Probably should have rethought that. So she's resigned. I think that will be effective in January. She's shocked. Some in Georgia said she could have won without Trump. So what's all this business about? I don't normally like covering this kind of stuff, but this is big news, Winmo. A highly notable House of Representative person resigns like this, especially one who's been very vocal recently. So Marjorie Taylor Greene built a reputation in Congress as a fighter, first as a defender of Donald Trump, and more recently as someone who clashed with him. So Greene's decision to resign from the House after publicly disagreeing with the president came as a surprise to some in her home state of Georgia, who say it goes against character for the Republican. They believe Greene could have withstood the pressure and been reelected to the House, even without the president's backing. So Greene's decision has raised questions about the strength of Trump's hold in a narrowly divided Congress, even as he touts his party's unity ahead of next year's midterm elections. It's also has prompted a speculation about what may be next for Greene, who was first elected to the House in 2020 and was at the forefront of Trump's MAGA movement. Greene quickly became a lightning rod on Capitol Hill for her often beyond mainstream views, but she angered Trump on some recent issues, including by pushing for the release of files by sexual abuser Jeffrey Epstein. Before Greene announced her resignation in a video late Friday, Trump branded her a traitor and wacky, as he has done in previous election cycles about lawmakers he viewed as disloyal. Trump said he would endorse a challenger seeking to primary her this year. So, yeah, that whole base is really, particularly the MAGA base, is kind of askew at this point. With a lot of them being divided on Jeffrey Epstein, a lot of them being divided on Israel. Some of them kind of cross over in that Venn diagram. But for her to step down, I don't know. Do you think she might run as an independent?
I that was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Yeah, I that was not on my bingo card. It feels like, it seems to me that what we're seeing here is there seems to be, again, are we being played? Is this another bit of political theater? Or are we seeing the fracture being over Epstein?
Right.
And possibly Zionism.
Yeah, that in this case, when it comes to anything that happens like this, it's definitely a theater moment, and I'm wondering what the end game is, right? Like, if she's departing from the Trump camp, maybe she stays out of politics, or maybe she's just one of these people that goes on Fox News and complains about stuff all the time. I doubt she will be able to keep quiet about anything, because she's been so vocal recently.
Yeah.
So but still, I smell it. That it's something screwy happening. You know it, I know it. We just don't know what it is yet.
We don't. And again, this is again, is this out of the pro wrestling playbook where people betray each other? And that's a very standard pro wrestling trope, that somebody out of the blue betrays somebody, and then everybody is distracted and moving over here. I don't know. Some of these people are just downright loopy. Some of them, is this about anti-Semitism or fake anti-Semitism? Because Zionism and anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism are not the same thing.
Right.
Is that what's going on here? Is it the whole pedo thing? Because when people talk about, which is never to be minimized, but when people talk about that, who's prioritizing what here, that gets people very emotionally involved. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's being used in some way because of the nature of it too, right? When you're talking about children involved like this, of course your attention is going to be pointed in that direction and probably away from something else. So that's why, everybody else in the space, keep your eyes peeled all around. Yeah, sure, we're looking this way, but stuff's going on in the periphery too. Especially down in around Venezuela, with all that craziness down there, the scare tactics in our backyard. As U.S. troops near Venezuela reportedly denied holiday leave as fears grow of unpopular and lengthy Trump war. Yeah, that's the one thing you like around the holidays is an unnecessary war.
Yeah.
Following the reports that the Trump administration is eyeing a deadly new phase of military actions against Venezuela, including land strikes, a new report suggests that the U.S. troops stationed near the South American nation are being denied holiday leave in anticipation of immediate action. That could be a sleight of hand, too. On Monday, News Nation White House correspondent Kelly Meyer reported via social media that the United States Southern Command, or SOUTHCOM, is restricting/limiting leave over the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays in preparation for possible land strikes in the next 10 days to 2 weeks. Southcom has denied the claim, with a spokesperson saying, "Our service members and civilian employees are always afforded the opportunity to take leave throughout the year, and that includes holiday periods." As of yet, reports only suggest that the U.S. may be planning imminent airstrikes against Venezuela, but as documents reported Tuesday by The Intercept revealed, the U.S. is planning to maintain a massive military presence in the Caribbean almost to the end of Trump's term in office, suggesting the recent influx of American troops to the region won't end anytime soon. So now you have this, that's this bit of distraction down, down in our southern backyard here.
We also got those summary executions on those boats that are going on.
Yeah. The quote, narco terrorists is what I'm hearing. That's the word that's what Huggy Bear told me, that they're narco terrorists. It turns out they don't even really know that. That's just
it's a summary execution. They're not, they're looking at the facts, they're killing people first and facts come later. Maybe because
it's
the evidence is all gone, so they have no way of knowing at this point.
Yeah, they don't even go check it out. They blow up these boats, and then they don't even go check to see if there's any drugs on there or guns or anything like that. A lot of these people are claiming that their husbands haven't come home yet because they're fishermen, and they're probably one of these people that got killed out in these boats. That's why we have laws, people. You can't just go out there and kill people willy-nilly like that. But apparently that's what's happening until somebody
into
stops
this,
it.
Uncle Warren.
Willy-nilly? Yeah,
Nilly
nilly not so much. Nilly Nilla wafers are really good, but not nilly. Nilly, not a fan. And more
is talking in tongues over here, by the way.
Yeah, I don't speak Klingon. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
More screwery to mess with people's heads, as the Trump administration is to retroactively vet refugees already resettled in the U.S. Yeah, this is just another fear, distraction, motivation, and cruelty. Yes,
it's cruelty. It's cruelty.
Trump administration has confirmed that it will retroactively vet refugees who have already been admitted into the country, prompting concern from immigrant rights groups. Corrective action is now being taken to ensure that those who are present in the U.S. deserve to be here. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement yesterday. The AP and Reuters news agencies had reported on Monday that they obtained a government memorandum ordering a review of more than 230,000 refugees who were legally resettled in the country under former President Joe Biden. The memo, signed by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, that's the USCIS Director Joseph Edlow, said that refugees who are found to have failed to meet the standards for resettlement would have their legal status revoked. Given these concerns, USCIS has determined that a comprehensive review and a re-interview of all refugees admitted from January 20th, 2021 to February 20th of this year is warranted, the memo stated. When appropriate, USCIS will also review and re-interview refugees admitted outside this time frame. In 2024, the U.S. admitted more than 100,000 refugees. The leading countries of origin for refugees were the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Afghanistan, Venezuela, and Syria. Unlike asylum seekers who apply for protections once they arrive in the U.S., refugees apply for legal status while they are outside of the country. They are allowed to enter the U.S. with the presumption that they will be long-term residents safe from persecution in their home countries. Refugee admission also offers a path to U.S. citizenship, with newcomers able to apply for a legal permanent residency 1 year after arrival in the country. Yeah, and this just goes on with more of the screening and interviewing process and stuff. So basically, yeah, it's they're doing this with the kids, the students, right? They're revoking their visas. Mm-hmm. Because of certain, you said something we don't like. And that's another thing too. They're trying to get these people all riled up.
Yep.
And cause more conflict and more division.
Conflict and division, but also mental load. If you've been settled in the U.S., and suddenly your situation is in jeopardy, or potentially in jeopardy, or even just hearing the rumblings about it, mm-hmm. That's going to put you on edge. It's going to make you nervous. I've got a dear friend who is in the U.S. legally, has been here for a very long time, is from a developed nation and all that, but that person has had to take certain steps to protect themselves against possible harassment or deportation. And in fact, is looking to go back to their country of origin, despite having strong job and family ties here in the U.S., because it's hard to live under this sort of thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, and
I do. You're right, Kate, you're right. I do blame Obama for this. That was a stupid policy. It was kind of like Obamacare insurance, which benefits the insurance company. The Dreamers Path basically benefits employers and schools in the U.S. who can take their money and take their labor, but keeps that person in a no person's land. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. It is. They should have done it legally, but I mean, in this day and age, what is legal, right?
Well, and there are people who have done things legally, like my friend who did everything legally. There are people, again, people have a right to ask for asylum. They have a right to be settled. They have a right to apply for that. They've done it legally. And now they're facing this maybe not situation. I believe that immigration processes should be quick and definite. I have no problem with a sovereign nation deciding who it wants in its borders. Period. Mm-hmm. I got no problem with that. But be clear, be straightforward, and don't put a person in a situation where they are in limbo for years or even decades, and then find themselves having to be resettled to a country that they no longer have any ties to. That's not humane.
No, that's just putting someone in limbo like that. And that's, I mean, there's enough of that going on within the country. Can you imagine, like, someone from outside of the country, a victim of our domestic policies, trying to escape and having to jump through the hoops that they have to do. Well, speaking of hoops, CBS has a new boss lady over there. That Barry Weiss lady, you've heard of her, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You've heard of tales of this lady. So, this is from Barry Weiss. Bounds of acceptable debate at CBS News will range from Alan Dershowitz to Dana Loesch. Okay. Says Paramount's new Trump-aligned billionaire owner David Ellison installed the right-wing pundit Barry Weiss as the editor-in-chief of CBS News. Fear has abounded about how she might attempt to reshape the network to fit her worldview. Weiss once fashioned herself as a champion of ideological diversity. That's kind of oxymoron there. In contrast to what she deemed a takeover of academia and media by intolerant woke types who'd fostered an illiberal atmosphere of political conformity. Illiberal. But now that she's at the helm of one of America's most storied news organizations, she seems to view her role much differently. So she said she wants to use her new perch at CBS News to redraw the lines of what falls in the 40 yards of acceptable debate in American political and cultural life. She says the aim is to sideline voices like Hassan Piker, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, etc. During a panel at the Jewish Leadership Conference, a gathering of conservative and pro-Israel Jewish figures, this week, Weiss laid out her goals for how she plans to use her powerful position. I think it's about who's in the room, Weiss said. I think it's about redrawing the lines of what falls in the 40-yard lines of acceptable debate and acceptable American politics and culture. She said her goal for the network is to create a new form of centrist news. Wonder where that Overton window is on that thing there. Not by adopting a dispassionate voice from nowhere, but by amplifying people who are clearly and identifiably on the center left and the center right in conversation with one another. This is an opportunity to speak for the 75%, for the people that are on the center left and the center right, Weiss said. Weiss gave an example of two figures she thought would represent this paradigm. I was in Chicago last week where Dana Loesch, former spokeswoman for the National Rifle Association, was debating Alan Dershowitz on guns. Now, these are people who have wildly different opinions on the Second Amendment and yet showing they can have good faith, very passionate, very charismatic disagreement, and still like each other at the end of the day is very important. Why is that important? That you like somebody? I don't think that's, I don't know. Yeah. Weiss contrasted these preferred figures with those rising in the podcast charts, whom she said don't represent the values and the worldview of the vast majority of Americans. These include pundits on the extreme right like Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate, who have expressed overt Nazi sympathies, as well as former Fox News host turned independent podcaster Tucker Carlson, who has given each of these men friendly interviews. But she also mentioned Hassan Piker, a popular left-wing Twitch streamer who has faced accusations of anti-Semitism, including from members of Congress, for his denunciation of Israel's genocide in Gaza, which has resulted in the death or injury of more than 10% of people living in the Strip over the past 2 years. Piker has called anti-Semitism completely unacceptable, adding that he finds the conflation of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism to be very dangerous. That's the thing, too, is the anti-Semitism being construed as anti-Zionism. That has been a huge straw man argument that, well, if you're anti-Semitic, then, well, if you're anti-Zionist, then you're anti-Semitic. No, that's not how that works. Right?
Anti-semantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you, Bella.
I'm antiseptic. I want no septics. I don't know what that means. I was thinking of Scope mouthwash or something. But
if you're really broke and you need to get looped,
that's what happens. Yeah. You know, you gotta get out the Scope. But that's the thing, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing an exodus, no pun intended, well, kind of intended.
Oh, Uncle Warren.
You're seeing this exodus from mainstream media of people who are just like, wait a minute, I've been lied to this whole time? Yeah. These nut jobs with the tinfoil hats been trying to tell you this the whole time, and you're like, oh, wait. And you finally wake up to it, and you see how ridiculous that is, how it is just twisting people to make you think it's one thing when it's a totally different situation too. Because technically, if you're against the Palestinians, you're anti-Semitic too. So,
well, one thing I
that's
want
how
to
that
say is,
works.
I remember when the internet was on the rise and we had Salon, and Salon at one point was really kind of a prestigious, it's not any longer, but it was a prestigious online journal. And they did have people from all over the map. They had Glenn Greenwald was a regular there. They had Camille Paglia. They had David Horowitz. I mean, they had a real diverse group of people who were writing for them that eventually they became mashed potatoes later on. But for a while, that you actually did have some genuine diversity. It does seem to me that Barry Weiss is basically looking for people who are Zionists and keeping them on there. She's she trots out her lesbian credentials, but she's not necessarily providing genuine diversity in their little ecosystem. I mean, I don't want Nick Fuentes anywhere because I find him incredibly offensive, and I don't see that he adds anything. He's just a spoiled kid out of his mother's basement, who says terrible things and gets attention. If I felt that he had anything worth saying, I would, of course, support that, but not now.
Yeah. No, I think we need more information gatherers than we do pundits at this point. But, I'm not saying that people shouldn't voice their opinions. It's just we should get some facts in there too. That's all I'm saying. Speaking of facts, these are not these people are not very bright. These Texas men. Was this where's the thing here? So Texas men indicted in plot to take over a Haitian island and enslave the women and children there. What's this about?
Yeah, a couple of incels decided that they were going to take over a Haitian island and Haitian territory, take over the island, kill all the men, and enslave the women and children.
And these guys are like,
white guy
Gavin
fever dreams.
Yeah, Gavin Weisenberg, not very wise, 21, and Tanner Thomas, 20 years old, along with other co-conspirators. Oh, no, you don't. Plan to murder all men. Yeah. And so the co-conspirators conducted research, reconnaissance, recruiting, planning, and sought training to effectuate their plan. The indictment reads, it was the goal of the conspiracy to take military control of the island of Ganavi by murdering all the men on the island and capturing all the women. What are these guys thinking? Both men are charged with they're charged with conspiracy to kill or kidnap persons in a foreign country and face one count of producing child pornography too. They could face life in prison if convicted on the conspiracy charge. The child pornogaphy charge carries up to a 30-year prison sentence. So this they were just gonna storm it like Red Dawn style. How are they gonna do this?
I suspect that these are young men who are. That's not even red pill content at this point. It's probably black pill content. It's just a suspicion on my part. And I mean, I'm putting this up here. It's in a clownfish school because these people are doing stupid stuff. But I also find this very serious because these are young men who are consumed with hatred and racism, and this needs to be called out. And Stephanie, you said something here. You're dismissing him. He's a well-spoken white nationalist with a lot of influence, dangerous to ignore. I'm presuming that you're speaking of Nick Fuentes. If you are, my apologies here. I'm not saying that we should be ignoring him. But what I am going to say is that I would not give him a platform. Just because I would not have somebody on a show, I would not interview him. I don't want to dismiss him because he is coming out of his mother's basement. He has the support of his family. I know where he lives and grew up because I was near there myself. So I don't want to say that I'm dismissing him. And if, I'll just say that, but I would never give him a platform. And one of the reasons why I'm calling attention to these morons planning to invade Haiti and enslave everybody is actually to call out what's happening to people's minds.
Yeah. People are really starting to lose it. I mean, I thought the Tide Pod thing was a thing. And then that was just the tip of the iceberg. And it just seems to be getting exponentially worse. Yeah, definitely don't ignore the influence of what people have in this space. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to feed into it either.
Yeah. Here's another case. Laura Silvey was a white lady who went to Haiti after the earthquake and said the parents of those kids died, and then she was taking them from the island to be adopted in America. Yes, that has happened. Again, you have the white mind sometimes really kind of mystifies me. And when I'm saying white, I'm not necessarily even talking about the ethnicity, but the idea of we know best. That comes in when people decide that they are going to, on one hand, say, oh, we're going to save all these kids by adopting them and taking them in, even when those people have not asked for that sort of thing to happen. And then, of course, you've got these very young, very disturbed young men who decide that they're going to invade and take what they want. It is both are monstrous perspectives.
Yeah, these are just dumb Tide Pod kids that have apparently had some military training too. So that's the thing. Is like some kind of information in the right hands is good, but sometimes not so much. So in other hands,
good, Willie. And Spirit of the Age has a perspective here. Could very well be the case, but it is incredibly disturbing that happened.
Yeah, just the fact that someone's actually even thinking about doing this and plotting to do this and has co-conspirators. It's very unnerving for sure. Well, we don't want to leave you with unnerving stuff. I mean, we kind of do, but we don't. We don't want to like totally traumatize you.
I don't mind having these conversations, but maybe not the day before Thanksgiving. But I think we've got our commentariat here. These are some deep discussions that I think we probably should have. Could be a special show to have but I do appreciate them. Yeah.
Yep. Finally. See, Finley.
I love it, Uncle Warren. I saw it when we were doing the show note, when we were putting the show together.
See, because it's Finn and it's undersea stuff. Well, enough of the jokes. Well, like there was any humor in there. Well, there's one more. So this school, I guess this isn't funny, but this is a feel-good story. If you like teddy bears that are earthbound, school seeks help finding teddy bear that fell from the stratosphere. He wasn't he didn't come from space. We put him up there. So there's this thing, and we don't really need that. So on Monday the 10th, they put this balloon up here with the thing and the Bradfield bear. There he is. Look, he's got a stick up his thing there. He set off at 12:35 local time there with a stick up his pooper, and he's flying around. Look at me, way! Look at me, my no wings. It started off smooth sailing with fabulous views of the countryside and the dead bodies in that lake down below. As he's flying around. Hey, look at me. I'm not going to fall off this stick at all. Hey, where the hell are we all of a sudden in space? He soared up above the clouds, and he was, oh boy, I shouldn't have had to fish. Things did get a little bumpy along the way, and then, well, you know what often happens when you got to stick up the pooper. Sure, you don't give up, but eventually you got to give up the ghost. And, well, let's just say our little cowboy didn't really survive the rodeo that he intended to survive. The stratosphere was more than enough to knock him off his poop stick. And then, well, there he goes. Now all you got left is broken dreams Anyway, so, and that's the story of our little friend lost in space there. I don't know why I did the voice like that. So, a school in England is asking for the public's help to find the missing teddy bear. The Walhampton school said Bradford Bear was sent into the sky from Lymington, Hampshire, by 7th and 8th grade students working together with the Southampton University Space Flight Society. So you saw the camera on board there recorded the trauma and plight of the teddy bear. I'm sure that didn't scar children who were watching the show. And there's children watching the show. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Bradford Bear had been expected to parachute to safety along with the rest of the balloon's cargo in the Basingstoke area, but he's now believed to have landed somewhere near Airlie and Folly in the Henley-on-Thames area. Yes. Oh, yes, the Henley-on-Thames area. So anyway, so they're looking for this bear that fell out of the sky, and it's really sad.
If you find the bear, please bring him back to the school children.
We couldn't bear to see those children unhappy another day.
So as we're wrapping up, Uncle Warren.
Yes.
I wanted to ask our good friends here in the audience what they think about maybe us doing a holiday special, Christmas or New Year's Eve.
Ooh, that would be interesting. It would be at night, wouldn't it? If it's Eve.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if we want to do something, after Christmas, if people are upset with their relatives, or we all get together on New Year's Eve if we don't feel like going out. I don't know. I'm just thinking you get people a week or two to think about this. Maybe we'll do a poll next week. Yeah, a Spirit of the Age would love to hang out with you, but maybe next week think on it. We'll do a poll next week and see if how folks feel about it. Just a thought.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. So yeah, if you want us to do that, that would be cool. We'd love to do that. So
my phone is going off. Very irritating. Sorry about that.
I'm trying to see what the tune is. My ringtone is "Go away. Nobody likes you. We left you in that garbage bin for a reason."
Seriously, I mean, we could all pull out a libation of our choice, either way, pull out a libation of our choice. Maybe we could pull up some funny holiday commercials or something like that. Spend a couple hours just hanging out and talking. It was a good time on Halloween. But I'm saying, just something kind of like the Secret Show or whatnot. We just all hang out, have fun. We do appreciate all of you. I really appreciate it when you all come together. I love it when you push back on what we're saying here, because that's good. That's good. It's good conversation. It's going to change our content and change the way I start thinking about things. But seriously, you're all really appreciated. I can think of no other people I'd like to spend some holiday time with than you all. So maybe next week we'll do a poll. Think about it.
Yep. Think about it, folks. That's going to do it for us this week. I should be back on Friday for the morning extra. Wasn't feeling too well yesterday. Still not feeling too great, but I'm getting better. Hey. Yeah, we'll be back on Friday morning for our morning extra, and then Secret Show Saturday night. And this old rag of a show, this thing, the Undercurrent, this stalwart. We've been doing this for over 2 months now. Do you realize that?
We have been, and we've been doing some good stuff here. It's much appreciated. Everybody's support. Those of you who don't remember me from back in the day over at Hard Lens, I appreciate you taking Warren's word for me and being here and doing all this. And if Willie wants to be part of the show, Willie, get in touch with us. We'll see what we can do. But again, much appreciated.
And if you want to see me tonight, I'll be at the corner of Western and Belmont. Bring cash. We don't do that Cash App bullshit, all right? Cash money, or else this didn't happen. No, seriously, bring cash. Thanks, folks. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Love you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Don't be afraid to duck out if your relatives are annoying you. Head on over to your favorite watering spot or a movie theater. Check out a new flick. I don't care, but take good care of yourself. Be safe. And looking forward to seeing everybody next week.
And don't be afraid to duck out, especially if it's turkey. Or chicken. You could be chicken and duck out.
Yeah, I'm going to be making my special cranberry sauce.
And I will be making my special I just ate too much face. And we'll have my pants unbuttoned for that very reason. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Right,
Happy Turkey Day. Peace.
Peace.